this. Back in the early 80s, around half of dads had never changed a nappy. But by the noughties, that number was just 3%. Fatherhood has completely changed in the last 40 years. But there's still no instruction manual. So with the help of some famous dads like Hugh Jackman and Barack Obama, our next guests have created one. Please welcome Luke Benedictus and Jeremy McVean, two of the founders of The Fatherhood.
Welcome.
Hey, fellas. Can we start with the boat trip that planted the idea for this great movement?
Yes, well, actually, we've got another co-founder, Andrew, and he works in the watch world, and through some kind of freak of nature, he found himself in Monaco on this yacht for 3 days with Thor and Jason Bourne, Chris Hemsworth and Matt Damon.
As you do.
As one does. Right. Anyway, what he said was extraordinary about this is for those 3 days, what they found themselves talking about was their families, their lives as dads. And what he realised from that was that basically fatherhood's a great leveller, and that fame doesn't solve all your problems as a father. Fortune doesn't solve all your fortunes as a dad. Even Thor, with all his thunderbolts and lightning, he still lies up at night worrying about his kids' screen time and, you know, how much he's away from home. So, yes, they've got money that means that they can have nannies and au pairs to help out a bit, but the essential problems don't go away.
Wow. So how did that manifest itself into fatherhood, and what sort of backup have you had from Matt Damon and Thor, Chris Hemsworth?
Well, the where it came about was actually the three of us as dads sharing these conversations. So we'd be talking to each other about other things and starting conversations with how's things going at home, how's your partner, how's your body holding up, and so for us it became. We thought there was a need for a platform to share these stories more broadly and involve dads in that, whether they're celebrities or whether they're everyday dads, whether they're academics. Build a platform to share this and therefore support dads through the process.
Because it seems very unfair, because unlike for mums, there aren't many forums for dads to get judged and shamed and told they're doing everything wrong.
Is there dad shaming in this group as well? Not really.
I think we go a bit easier on each other, perhaps.
Yeah, I think blokes are a bit different for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway. Now, you've got some parenting advice from some pretty famous dads, if Barack Obama and Chris Hemsworth weren't famous enough already. David Beckham had something to share. What was his?
So David Beckham, actually, he gave me his nutritional super weapon, which is... he believes in his strawberry smoothies. So whenever he's making strawberry smoothies for his kids, he's always smuggles extra veggies in them, so then the kids slurp them down without even noticing. So.
That is actually something Tara as well. She does, because I don't really do food, but she's good with that. But she calls them like Batman milkshakes or Superman milkshakes or Hulk milkshakes, depending on what colour they are, and then hides all this horrible stuff that I won't eat, but the kids apparently do.
You've also written as well in there, the worst piece of advice about new fatherhood that you received was to look after your wife so she can look after the baby.
Yeah. Well... OK, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. I guess the thing is that for dads, there's already so much encouragement to take a back seat and let your wife be the primary caregiver and get involved in all the nitty-gritty. So I guess what we're saying there was, if you step back, you need to actually be involved with the nappies, with like the wake-ups in the middle of the night. And if you take a back seat, then, you know, it just means that ultimately you're going to end up as mum's assistant rather than what you should be, which is kind of, you know, a really active, hands-on dad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's not go too far.
Now, another one of the guys, Pete Rhodes, in the book says parental leave. Now, this is happening now. Did either of you take parental leave, paternity leave?
I didn't. Did you take it off?
I was able to take 2 weeks for both my sons, but that was all. And I guess that was actually after my second son was born. Part of the reason I sort of left my job to set up the fatherhood is I did want more flexibility to be able to, you know, basically be a bit more involved.
Yeah, but also just to be clinical about it. If you're breastfeeding, I don't care if you want to breastfeed both. I don't give a formula. I don't give a rat's. But if you are breastfeeding your baby, there is not much point for the dad to take that first 6 months off if the mum has to then.
It's nice to bond with the baby, though, right? And I think dads do get a bit left behind, especially certainly with Paul when I took that time off. Tom would go to work and go, I wish I could stay with him all day and smell him and look into his eyes. Like, he wanted that just as much as I did.
There's significant shifts happening in the availability of the parental leave. But there is an issue. There are a couple of issues. One is awareness of what's available amongst dads. And another one is dad's willingness to step in and say, yeah, I'm going to take that and and define myself as a co-parent, not a parent's assistant.
But in practicality, do you always need two people because there are two salaries?
Well, you can only get. So for parental leave, only one parent can take it. It can be the father or the mum, but it can only be one. And so if you are breastfeeding, obviously that is not possible if the mother and the baby are in two different places. That's a scientific explanation. A lot of people probably wouldn't know.
You can always pump.
But yeah, you can pump or you can formula or whatever. So yeah, you definitely can. I took time off work I work from home now, except for this, to be with the kids, and I love it.
Yeah.
Can I just say, well done, you guys. I think, you know, we've got to give dads the credit where credit's due. I think there are so many dads now who are just stepping up and are just beautiful, beautiful men to have in kids' lives. And well done. I think.
Thanks very much,
we need to
Sarah.
give
But
you
these
a lot
guys
of
are
praise.
also terrific.
And he jokes and he mucks around, but this guy here. He's a great dad and adores his kids and loves his family and goes above and beyond.
I just
well
get bullied
done
into
for the brand.
submission. I just get bullied
You do
into
not.
submission.
You can get more dad wisdom at thefatherhood.com. It's a great forum. And Luke and Jeremy's new book is called The Fatherhood: Inspiration for the New Dad Generation. Fellas, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you.